The 2 years I worked at Hercules, I met the police chief at football games up here. I used to go to all the high school football games. And at that time, the police chief, you know, he had talked to me, and we had talked quite a bit. And he says, it's his exact words. He says, when you gonna come to work for me? He says, you know, I've always been looking for a colored boy to put on the police department. And I said, well, I'll keep it in mind. What had happened is that they had a reduction in force at Hercules. And when I got my papers, I had like 3 days to work, and then I would be without a job. And I happened to think about law enforcement. So I called the chief up, and he said, come on in and update your application. And so I came in and updated the application. And probably within about 3 days after the update, I got a call from him. And so he had called two people, myself and another gentleman named Randolph Cromer. And we're both sitting there side by side, and he heard us both on the Saturday.
He was very excited, thrilled. He was just glowing all over. I seen a twinkle in his eye, a little twinkle that made me feel that, you know, he could capture the whole world if he wanted to.
And that was one of the most exciting days of my life, you know, and I'm sitting like, hey, man, I got an opportunity.
His character is beyond reproach. He is very ethical, he's honest, he's trustworthy, he's loyal. He's just everything that you would expect a police chief to be.
He used to be really muscular and in shape, and he looked like a superhero, and I was just so fascinated with him, and I was like, you know, that's what I want to be. I want to look just like my dad. And
my wife and I were married. Chief attended our wedding, and we had a good time with him, you know. He, I think he had several other weddings that he was invited to that weekend, but he made it a point to come to mine, and I always appreciated that.
As a police chief, he has done more to keep things stable than I can remember since I was a little kid. His ability to diffuse potentially harmful situations and to be a strong representative of a police force in a town, but one that is your neighbor and your friend, I think is unparalleled in the Commonwealth.
He can go into some of the toughest situations where people are mad at each other, and within minutes people are laughing. You know, he just has that gift to kind of lighten up situations, and as a police chief, that's a great talent to have.
I had a guy out on the bypass. I didn't have any backup. By circumstance, everyone was tied up, and it was just me on the road by myself. And I got out on the bypass and had a man out there that was high on drugs, and we got in a foot pursuit in the woods, and he pulled a weapon on me, and I had to draw down on him. We had a long chase, and I was trying to call and didn't have any backup at all, no one to come to help me. And Chief Brown had been in his office, and he was the captain at the time, and he grabbed up his keys and came out there to me and made his way out there to me, and he and I, in a big old field full of mud, waddled around with this suspect and drug him out of there. And thought it was pretty special that the captain of the PD was sitting in his office. He told me later he realized that there wasn't nobody on the road but me, and he was just kind of listening, and he'd look to see where his keys were on the desk in case anything went on and I might need some help. And as it turned out today, I needed some help. And the help I got was the second highest ranking man in the building, and that was pretty special to have him come out there with me and us to get dirty together and drag that guy out of the field. It said to me a whole lot about the kind of man Chief Brown was.
Because of Bill Brown, and I know this from having two children, that children have grown up in Blacksburg with a tremendous respect for law enforcement. I think that is a contribution that you cannot measure.
We had an officer that was killed in the line of duty, and you know, I was able to talk to him and, you know, cry on his shoulder and stuff like that, and he was just there for me.
My dad's been gone for 13 years now, and what I could at one time talk to him about or seek direction from him about is the one thing that I can do with Chief Brown.
He likes to talk.
Bill loves to talk.
The chief's a big talker.
Some of the stories he tells us are just absolutely funny. He knows everything. He's been everywhere. He's done everything.
There was a gentleman, and we were talking about something, and I said, you know, you got people complaining about everything. There's people complaining about this and that. And he says, well, sir, or he said, I am the one complaining about that. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean.
He's one of a kind, and this is the end of an era.
He's always provided a lot of support for me, and I really appreciate that.
I think you've been a great chief. You have been truly great for the community. I'm sorry that you're retiring. I understand that you feel the time has come, but I hate to see you go because I think you've been just a super chief.
I would like to thank the chief for what he has given, not just to the community, but through the force, what he's given to my two children. That respect for law enforcement.
I want him to enjoy his retirement, and you know, I'd like to tell him I love him.
There are very few people I've ever met that I admired more than you. He is a fine individual that cares deeply about his community, and he is a person that has come to be one of my best friends since I have come to this town.
I would just tell the chief that I've enjoyed working with him over the years. I wish him the best in his retirement. He definitely deserves it. I wish him the best of luck, and hope to see him many more times in the future.
He's like my security blanket, and it's leaving.
I would like to thank him for giving me all the opportunities that he has given to me as well as to others, the encouragement that he's given us, the guidance, the patience, and I just want to thank him.
He's done a terrific job, and he'll be sorely missed by our community.
Chief Brown was a winner. When we hired him the first time as an officer, and today, he's still a winner.
Thank you for all you've done. You've really contributed a major part of your life to this community, and this community is a much better place because of it.
I would like to say this about Chief Brown, and that is that you can imitate, but you can't duplicate.
I have been blessed. When I say blessed, and I often say this, I work for the best people in the world. Now, when I say I work for the best people in the world, that's the citizens of Blacksburg, that's the council, that's the manager. I work for the best people in the world. And on the other hand, I have the best people in the world working for me. So I'm blessed, so blessed on both ends.
Yes, I would like to thank the town and the citizen for the kindness and the warmth that they showed my husband while he served as a police officer for the town. I don't know how I can express this enough, and the way I'm going to say it is thanks for everything.